everyone, welcome back to Old School. Today we're going to be in Acuity 101 because I want to talk about something that's going to lend itself to that, but it's going to cover all quadrants overall. I am at my workplace because this kind of feeds right into the whole thought process behind this particular class. I want to talk about mentors. I've had many. I have been a mentor, and I'm having a crossroads in my life right now in regard to my book and authorship that has made me ponder that and the impact they have and the impact being one has. A mentor is an experienced and trusted advisor. And I think that you have to be meticulous about that. Whose advice and who feeds into you. So many times we listen to Google and we listen to, the voices out there on social media, and I have to believe, I don't know, maybe you're different than me, but that we don't even know personally. We've never sat across the table from probably 90% of the people that follow us and we follow on social media. So why would we let them advise our life? Like, they may have some great things to say. A lot of the people I follow are inspirational in the different realms. Like, I used to compete in bodybuilding, and I like being healthy and taking care of myself. So I like following people who have seem to have a background where there's some good advice, but I still don't take anything or do anything that any of them say without drilling down. I leave taking straight advice to the people who are truly experienced and trusted advisors. So in each of the areas, like in the physical, I competed, as I said, years ago. I had a professional bodybuilder who started me out on that path, although in high school and in college I had sports scholarships, so I had worked out, I had eaten right and taken care of myself. So it's not that this was new information as much as it was new to a different layer of goals. He was a certified trainer, had competed on the professional national stage, and so his guidance was good, and the outcome was good. Then over the course of my life, I tried to stay in that vein, tried to eat. I mean, there were periods of time where I was, in your 20s, you do whatever. But when I moved back to Arizona from Hawaii, it's when I was in my mid-20s, and I met this professional bodybuilder, and we started the journey. And then in my late 20s, I had competed for the last time, and then I was working for General Nutrition Center, and I opened franchises. Well, I decided to get certified as a nutritionist at that point, and I've gone to naturopaths who have a conventional medicine background, so that we're looking at things as a holistic approach for my overall physical well-being. So I've always kind of been in that vein. It doesn't mean I've not been out of shape, had issues as I went into premenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, had all kinds of interesting things going on, and didn't really have, most of my friends were younger, so there was nobody I was able to like reach out to and get, this is what happened to me. Not to mention, for every single woman, this seems to be like a chasm of difference. There's some veins that are the same, but for the most part, it was different for everybody. So I went through a very long period of time where I took the information I had from before from mentors and advisors, but I hadn't acquired anybody new for this season. So then we fast forward to after my divorce, and a dear friend whose daughter played on a volleyball team with my daughter was a trainer. He was also a pastor. His name was Freddie Minifield, and boy, was he a great mentor in that space, but not just in the physical. I mean, he knew what to do. We talked about where I was at, what my physical health was, and he was awesome. But he also we'd obviously talk about our lives, and he just was a deliberate man. He's a man of God and a godly man. he just would know the question to put out there or the right thing to say, and he knew because of my history with studying the Word of God that I would know where to go to elaborate on what he has said. But he has been just an incredible resource and friend and mentor in both the physical and the spiritual quadrants for me. Um, I just care about him dearly. He's just been a great source. am not personally training with him right now. I'm kind of doing my own thing while I have some other stuff going on, but I daily think back to the things that he has led me to, both in the physical training realm, but also just to make me think about the things I'm doing and the choices I'm making. And I think that is truly where the lane is for a mentor. I can't think of very many spiritual mentors. For the most part, on my journey, I have been in a position where I was leading a women's ministry. I was leading an evangelism ministry. I have worked with youth, young girls, and so I was, again, like I said, always in the older end of my friend group. And it doesn't mean somebody has to be older to mentor you, but the experienced and trusted advisor, somebody who felt like they could talk to the season of my life, and that has been a little bit of a void. I definitely have gone through some great Bible studies in small groups, and there were people in them that were, had great things to say, and we had great parallels in our seasons, but still not somebody just outright where I felt like they were my person, they were my confidant, they were my mentor there. The same with probably my whole life. I have the abuse and the things I've gone through haven't really put in place somebody mentally and emotionally for me either. I believed for the longest time that I didn't think I was a victim. I didn't think I had to be special and have a little cry closet or something, but I just didn't think very many people would understand. And because when it happened, that time in our society, nobody talked about stuff. Nobody talked about it. It just was over. I mean, it was over, yay, but let's just shut up about it. And so that's a lot of the process I have been walked through with my king for the book. And so I didn't have in all that time any one person or any couple of people who were helping me process all that stuff. I had this logic that, I forgave whoever did it. I understood it was their evil, and I moved on. And I'm not going to say that wasn't even part of the Lord's working in me at the time, so that I didn't hang on to that, and I didn't accuse every male of being like that. So I think that's a good thing too. So I find myself now in a place where the Lord and I have been talking. I'm far enough along with my book that we're in a place where there needs to be somebody help me to get across the finish line. I need a coach or a mentor, and they need to be somebody, frankly, that can cover all those four quadrants: the spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional, because that is the book, and that is the guidance I'm going to need. And I mean, not some kind of therapist, but somebody who knows how to help me bring each of these quadrants to its conclusion. So I've been praying about it. The Lord brought some divine intervention, and a couple of people came across my path. I prayed a little bit more about it, and I now have a coaching contract with a pretty well-known author who is a believer, and their style, just how they express themselves, so connects and resonates with me that I felt like this was the fit. And I don't know why I felt like it needed to be a male. Maybe because I needed that example and that kind of a mentor that was better than what I had experienced. I don't know. I just know that this was a divine appointment, and it's in place now, and I feel that it will be both a mental for the sake of the authoring, as well as a good spiritual and emotional fit for understanding what my vision is, what the Lord's vision for our story to get out there. So I wanted to kind of just talk about the place of mentors and how if having a bad one can feed into places that you don't want to feed. So don't accept somebody in that inner tight circle to feed into you that you have never met in person and that is online that puts out some cute inspirational quotes. Really kind of pray about it and do your drill down. If you're going to let somebody into that intimate space, they need to be somebody who you can trust. And so I'm pretty excited. I will document this journey as we move on through old school and through the different classes, and I will let you know how awesome this all goes, because I'm anticipating awesome. And I feel I've never felt better about a choice and a placement and an appointment that the Lord has given me. So here we go. He's called me to it, and now I'm both terrified and excited to hear what they have to say, but ready to keep going on this journey. So watch for the future classes about it. If you like what's happening here and you want to keep seeing more, click that subscribe, click that like. If you want the notifications, hit the bell. I understand if you don't. I get a lot of notifications, and I'd be just as happy if I didn't sometimes. Anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. And I'd love to hear any comments or interactions you'd like to have. If you want to talk about like the process of walking that authorship, I'd be happy to have that communication too. So thank you for coming to class, and class dismissed.